Hey there, guys. Alright, I've made quite some changes to my previous attempt where I don't even know how much damage I dealt. I believe it was 1.8 billion or something like that. And I've constantly been improving my team. It is exactly the same as you've seen before. I only changed gears. And through gearing changes, I was actually able to shave off 4 turns of waiting. So we're gonna go for a turn 11 kill. As you can see, Mastermind Zone now has a little bit more DPS. He has one. Mastermind Zone, I went into this with the mindset of having him at 120 base, water, and wind resistance. I went a little bit overboard, as you can see. Fairly STMR heavy, as you also can see. I mean, let's not try to sugarcoat this. You're gonna need a lot of STMRs. This is completely either whale territory or you've been super lucky on your ports like I did. I'm not a whale. I didn't spend a single dollar other than Fountain of Lapis in January, for example. So I wouldn't consider myself a whale. Anyway, that is Zorn's gear. He will chip in actually some damage. He will actually deal 2 or 3 million, depending on variance. He's not useless. Next up, Lock, Near Vision, Passive Provoke Evasion. I had a different strat in mind where I needed Guts. You don't need this. You can actually just fit in something else, entirely else if you want. You don't need Reno's goggles. I also think you don't need Crimson Butterfly. I only went totally overboard on his physical evasion anyway because I had a different strat in mind. It didn't work out, so you don't need that much. What I'm wearing here is absolutely unnecessary. You can just leave these spots blank. You don't need this. All Locker needs is pretty much passive provoke evasion and 30% water and wind resistance. If you want to go for a fancy road, you could give him, and that is totally up to you, a fire amplify weapon such as Kuja's STMR or Neo Rain STMR. Both provide 10% fire amplify, which carries over even if you brave shift. So if I have more than one copy of this, one of them could go to Lock. And if you have 3 of them, one goes on to Edgar, one goes on to Dark Knight Lunev, and the third one goes on Lock. That is his Brave Shift. As you can see, I also bought a Kaiser Knuckle ++ of the Dark Visions shop, well, Moogle shop, and immediately leveled this up. I had like 3k Dark Matter and thought to myself, well, the glove, or not the gloves, yeah, the gloves, they are the highest attack. Let's go for the highest attack to make this count. So yeah, that's why he has that. I hadn't had the chance to run it Friday mode. It opens up tomorrow, but I will surely run it Friday mode. But whoops, he still has the attack cap anyway. He's using Ancient Sword, which is a trial weapon. A lot of photon cores. I think you've probably seen this on my previous one. It's also nice that Glorious Headpiece and Grand Reverie have synergy with Dark Kaiser Knuckle, so that's where all the attack is coming from. I believe the abilities are still the same on Lock, so, and he's using Riku's Vision card. He has 225 Reaper Killer, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Now, if you have, for example, say, Flammie's STMR, or what's it called? Life for the Purge, you might as well give it to Lock, for example. Okay, next up is last gen. I actually went ahead and EX plus 2'd him. That cost me 6k Lapis. Well, it was worth it in the end. I think last gen, I will use them anyway for the foreseeable future, next 2 or 3 months. So it's fine, actually. Last gen is built in his base form, and it's entirely intended that he has no weapon equipped. And you will see why in the video, because I'm using Bushido Freedom, and equipping any weapon kills Lock for whatever reason. Anyway, his normal form is heavily built for LB fill. As you can see, he has the necessary resistances, he's on Bushido Freedom, and what's super important is advanced weaponry, because that one stacks to his usual LB fill. It's always starting at the, or always giving you 1 to 3 LB crystals at the beginning of the turn. That one is crucial if you cannot fill his LB gauge on turn 10 and have to hope that this procs either 2 or 3 on turn 11 to fill his LB gauge. I, for one, only encountered once, have it only encountered once where I actually needed the proc of this. And he's using also vision, new Riku's vision card. And yeah, having 2 of that is so good. Not gonna lie. His Brave Shift, here's where you start seeing changes. He's using Longinus. The reason is, since we are using Edgar, who provides 25 Spear Imperil, why not use it on last gen as well, right? Since I'm using Longinus, I had to adjust some stuff, so let's check the abilities first. No real changes over here. So last gen has 275 Reaper Killer and still 300 LB damage. Now again, if you have Flammie's STMR or Life for the Purge, might as well use this instead of Undead Killer, for example. I even went ahead and UOC prismed and prismed Onion Knight, the original Onion Knight, as well as gave him an STMR Moogle for his STMR, because that one has 50% Reaper damage as well. So yeah. And again, I need to run this through item world. I still believe his weapon is one of the very, very best. Okay. Next up is King Edgar. His non-shifted form really doesn't have any changes. He's still using last gen's vision card to have an easier time capping his true dual wield attack, equipment attack, and his Brave Shift form has one change. I'm not using Rainbow Rope anymore. I've totally forgot I have Lunev's Cloves, and Lunev's Cloves provide exactly 30% water and wind resistance. So that eased up a little bit damage. He also has more attack now. And on the ability side of things, nothing's really changed. So he is at 225 Reaper. It's really hard to fit 300 Reaper Killer on him, I feel like, and 750 jump damage. So he's gonna deal the second most damage next to Terra. Next up, Dark Knight Lunev. I think it's a mistake not having any weapon on him. I had different plans from the get-go, but it doesn't really matter whether he has a weapon equipped or not in his normal form, because we're gonna fill his LB anyway, and we don't really want to deal much damage to the boss. So yeah, his normal form is absolutely irrelevant. Just make sure you have enough resistances, and the rest of it, you could leave all of this naked or empty, so to speak. And he's on Cloud's vision card because he's using Fusion Sword. So that is the other change I made. I gave Dark Knight Lunev a lot more LB damage. I realized giving him only like, I believe I had 50 or 80 LB damage on my original clear, and that's just not gonna cut it. Dark Knight Lunev actually does a lot of damage. I believe he's around 200 to 300 million when get properly, and that's why I did. So one of the issues I had, because I just got Fusion Sword, I STMR'd and used an USC Prism on AC Cloud to get this. So Dark Knight Lunev is missing a 30% attack, and that is 137 attack that he's missing. I checked how much attack it is. It's 137. And if I waited for tomorrow with this fight, I would have an easier time capping this boss, because 137 attack is a huge chunk of damage that is missing. And on the attempt that I previously had, I was 8 or 9 million off of the cap, and having 137 attack more on Lunev would have made the difference. So yeah, I'm surely gonna run Fusion Sword through Item World tomorrow. It is a super strong weapon anyway. It's good to have one. It's better to have 2 or more of them. So yeah. And he also now has, as you can see, a lot more LB damage, Shining Arts, Fundamentals, Courage to Move On. Yeah. And he is at 300 re per kill and 230 LB damage. I sadly couldn't fit more in him because I need the attack. And I also need... well, technically you could, if I had more Lion Hearts, for example, or if I had more Sora LB or Sora STMRs, I could just change Shining Arts Fundamentals, or I could throw out Courage to Move On because it's only 30%. There's a lot of ways to improve this, but it's, like I said, super whale territory. It's not only whale territory, it's deep sea monster territory already. And last, we've got Terra. She's on Judgment Staff. She has Craftsman Book, so she doesn't have many changes, but she has one important one in her Brave Shift. So that is the gear. And the important change, you might remember I used Rainbow Rope. I'm dumb. I have Garland's Cloak. I've had this for a long time, and Garland's Cloak is 30 resistance to all with 60 magic. Super strong. So I realized I had this. I'm using it, and that's why Terra is now at 5.1k magic again. She's super strong. Her maximum amount of damage ranges from 702 million up to 810 million. And that's gonna be a lot. And yeah, we'll see how she does. That's the team. And you'll be seeing the cap kill now. So have fun. Okay, 9 more million damage. Let's give this another try. I might cap it this time around. Oh, by the way, I'm not going to really go through all the motion that I'm going to do. It's just, if you really want a step-by-step guide on how to tackle this fight, I'd suggest you watch my previous one, where I'm actually explaining all the steps I'm doing. Okay, one thing though that I did wrong on my first one was not using Elemental Mirror on Mastermind Zone. As you can see, his resistances only last 3 turns. That implies by turn 4 they're all gone, and it's up to luck, and apparently I had a lot of luck in my first video, that the boss doesn't randomly kill Zone. It happened to me twice until I realized what was wrong. Okay, turn 2 is Chain Cap. So let's do that one. And there's some more changes to the actions that I did. So whenever I changed something, I will just mention it outright, but I'm really not going to comment on why I'm doing each specific move here. This one. Terra God. And by the way, as I've seen, if you compare the gear from my first clear and this one, there are a lot of small, minuscule changes, or they appear to be minuscule, but they have huge implications. Like my initial clear was 15 turns. Through gearing, I actually managed to go to turn 11 now, which is pretty cool and saves a lot of time. Okay, Terra Dispel. I think it's pretty telling that I know how all the actions work right now without actually looking at my cheat sheet. I don't even have my cheat sheet open anymore. I naturally know what I have to do in this fight. This is probably my 25th or so attempt at this, and yeah. It is quite annoying when you don't have the most powerful gear, or let's say multiple STMRs. I'd really like to have more Kuja STMRs, for example. That'd be really cool. Or Neo Vision Rain, it has the same effect. Okay, Zon, crit, Lunav, Element Self, crit Self. Rest of them God, Elixir on Lunav. Okay. By the way, the Alexion Lunif is still absolutely unnecessary personal flavor of me, and I just like to be better safe than sorry. Okay, turn 5. Dispel turn. Okay, resistances. Okay. By the way, we have 3.5 minutes into this fight and it's already turn 6, so that is pretty quick. Speedrunning 101, Dark Anima. Okay, only things on, crit, element, self, and personal flavor mystical. Rest of the team guards. Zorn's LB is also ready now. Everything's good. Looking good for turn 7. 8, sorry. Okay. Barn can go into hiding. Tap Dispel one last time before last gen takes over. Okay, Edgar Shift LB. Mastermind Zorn LB. Rest of the team chills out. Okay, Zorn hide. Edgar Figaro jump. Last gen Bushido freedom. Let's wait for this animation to finish. Okay. Terra LB. Baroga. Waterga. Right, so we will now have the second change I made to all of this, and it was actually a mistake of mine on my initial clear, which probably cost me like 10 to 20 million damage. As you can see, Mastermind Zorn's buffs only last 1 turn, and we need to refresh them because spreading does not refresh his buffs. Okay, let's check out how many crystals last gen gets. We only need 1 LB crystal to land on last gen to fill his LB gauge again. So let's check. Okay, he activated Ultra Instinct again. Absolutely fine, we've got more chances to fill. Luna, Spirit's Bane, Forbidden Blade, Kikuichi Monji, Terra Shift, and gets ready as well. Magic Attack, Transburst, Chaos Wave. Let's check the LB crystal drops. 1 is enough. We got 1, we got even 2. Excellent. Okay, and now remember to elemental on Zorn, critical on Zorn, and spread afterwards. And now he's got 5 turns of all the buffs and imbues and killers, so he can actually elemental chain with Lock. Okay, and here's the kill turn now. And one important thing to note here is that you want Terra to go second. I know in my initial clear I had Terra go first, but people told me that Terra will only account for her 120 Imperil she does herself. If you want to use the 130 Imperil from Locke, who attacks his very first action he's doing is actually Phoenix Ray, which is the 130 Imperil. And if you send in Terra right afterwards, she will account for the 130 Imperil. Now, I have a macro because it's convenient to do so, but as we are triple chaining SR, and SR is the easiest chain family to chain. So if you're doing this by hand, you have round about 200 to 500 milliseconds to actually fit in her LB, and that lands at the very end. My macro is just 4 frames, so 69, nice, milliseconds after the initial chain. Okay, well, let's hope for the best. We need 90% variance on all 4 of those. So yeah, it's gonna be tough, but it might be manageable. Let's go. Let's wait for the chain to build and send in the DPS. 800 million on Terra. Whoa. Is this it? This is it. It's over. I finally did it. Yes. Oh boy, I finally did it. What a huge relief that is. Oh. Rank 1. I gotta say, I'm gonna go on a huge rant right now. I think it's the most dumbest thing Gumi has ever done with this boss. You've gotta imagine how hard it is to fight this boss without the gear. And the best killers for this boss are either behind a paywall. We know Life for the Purge, right? That just cost 18k or 15k Lapis. We have Flammie, that is Secret of Mana, Seiken Densetsu. Yeah. And that was a time limited unit. You can't get it anymore. And if you didn't when 2 years ago or whenever that came out, tough luck. That is one of the best STMRs you can get with 75%, I believe, Beast and Reaper Killer, plus 60% attack. And we got one Reaper Killer material, I believe, last week for free. The best Reaper Killers, they are either behind paywalls or stupid units that are not available anymore. And Flammie wasn't even that good when he got released. He was way weaker than Randy, for example. So I hate Gumi for that move, and that they actually buffed Anima by 50%. It all came down to huge variance from my side. Like I said, I needed 90% or better variance on every single unit to cap this boss. And I think it's the most stupid thing. I've been playing this game for 3 years. I have most of the best STMRs available in this game. I even have 2 Riku Vision cards, because my thought process behind 2 Riku Vision cards was, I'm gonna need this for Dark Visions, because this is actually becoming Whale Visions or Veteran Visions. Well, Veteran Visions is going to get thrown out of the window once the damage cap is being deleted from the game, and you just cannot cap anymore. And it's clearly becoming Whale Visions again, and I really dislike the whole concept of Whale Visions. I mean, yeah, Dark Visions is actually meant to incentivize spending on the game for the latest units, but you can make it still affordable for, say, dolphins or people that occasionally spend or are veterans, but just don't make it pure whale territory. I'm not gonna, like, for example, if I can't cap Kokurio next in 3 or 4 weeks, I'm just never gonna spend a dime on units again, other than units that I actually want, such as Neo Vision Lightning or Neo Vision Noctis, Neo Vision Luna Freya. Those are the 3 that I'm personally looking for, because I like the units and the concepts. But anything else, Full Metal Alchemist, I'm not gonna pull on it. I'm not gonna pull on a Chinese New Year banner. I'm not gonna pull for Faris. To hell with all of those units if I can't cap anyway. So I think it's a stupid move. Anyway, enough ranting. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm finally done with Dark Visions. Yeah, and we'll see each other tomorrow for Behemoth, hoping that Gumi actually fixed the 70% break damage from last gen, or else I won't cap. Or, not cap, but be able to do this boss in 15 turns, so we'll see. The winner gets tea. That's it from me today. It's 10 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 10 p.m. So I'm just gonna publish this video right now and then chill out, study a little bit more, probably for my exam on Monday. Yeah. Have a good night, nice evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you're from. Goodbye.